Do you think UFOs, the paranormal, weird history, cryptozoology, and outsider art are pretty darn cool? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to High Strangeness with your host, Steve Berg.
The video version.
Yeah.
I know, super fancy. Oh, folks, welcome back to another episode of High Strangeness. Today, I have on my friend Morgan Nalley. Morgan, how are you doing?
I'm doing real good.
Morgan, do you mind if I read a bio and embarrass you?
I do not. I do not mind.
Okay, good. Oh, her face is turning so red. She's so embarrassed. Listeners, friends, and family, Morgan Nalley is a writer, actor, comedian based in Los Angeles, California. You heard that right. She jumps between the front of the camera and behind it producing. She hails from the suburbs of Philadelphia and is no stranger to otherworldly happenings. A self-proclaimed spooky kid, her mom's side of the family never shied away from the supernatural. We love that. Catch her on Mayfair Witches on AMC and more screens coming soon. Also, you can hear her on the fantastic podcast, We're Here to Help, with Jake Johnson and Gareth Reynolds, two of my best buddies in the world. Morgan, how are you doing, great buddy?
Oh, I'm better now.
Yeah?
I'm better now. Oh,
Good.
Steve, how are
Good.
you?
I'm doing A-okay, you know? Like, my little world is pretty good, I must say, and I feel very gracious, but the rest of the world, good night. Oh, mackerel. Morgan, I wanted to ask you, because you got back from Rome, or Roma, as they say.
Yes.
Do they roll the tongue when they say Rome there, or did I just add that in?
You know, I don't think I heard any Italians say Rome, because we were in Rome, so it was only...
Amazing if they were.
Only Americans being like, Rome or Roma.
Yeah, and we'd probably say it very... Yeah, it would be weird if there was like people in LA just going, Los Angeles! You know, they don't really say the name of the city. But, we love talking about food here. Food is it's important to me, I'll be honest. If people know about Rome, they know one thing, and that is Italian food is delicious. Now, were you in pasta heaven there?
Pasta heaven, pizza heaven.
Oh.
Other heaven, like any of the food, wine heaven.
Oh.
It was just like a decadent 5 days. Just
as it should
eating and walking around and just enjoying and having such nice wines, espresso all the time.
Yeah,
they really do it right over there. It's a different pace of life, and
they take their time.
They take their time. I think it's important to just. And then now I'm back in Atlanta.
Yeah.
For work, which no, I love it. I love being here. It's just not Rome.
It's definitely not Rome, but I'm actually so many things shoot in Atlanta. Probably more than LA. Actually, probably
1,000%.
Yeah, and so I feel like I probably shot more things in Atlanta than I have in LA in the last 10 years, which is sad. But I do love Atlanta. Like, Bucktown's amazing. They've got Twin Peaks bar there. It's great.
And I'm in Reynoldstown. I don't know why I say Reynolds.
Because that's a fun pronunciation of it. I like that.
And then Cabbagetown. I'm right there. And
Cabbagetown? Is that? Are you making that up, or is that real?
No, it's real. It's the name of a neighborhood. It's super cute, and it's really nice. I'm like looking at the trees out my window right now, and a nice little suburban street.
Well, Georgia's pretty, and also
it's
Georgia.
Really pretty.
They got some weirdness there. Hopefully, you have some extra time to get into some trouble. Can I ask you one quick question?
Yes.
What was your favorite pasta dish while you were over in Italy?
Ooh, it was this pea pasta.
Oh boy, yeah.
And the spaghetti they do, it's all, what is it, al dente? Is it firmer there?
Yeah.
Which is apparently the right way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it came in this bowl. It was like this green sauce. It was this bright green pea colored sauce, and it was so good. But so that was probably my favorite.
Yeah,
that was the most notable one, and paired with the perfect wine, and everything was insane. And I can't do eggs. this intolerance to, unfortunately. But I was okay. There was only one night where I felt a little funny. No cranky runnies.
No cranky runnies.
But we definitely felt some rumblings, but all of it was worth it. I told my boyfriend, I was like, he's like, you shouldn't be eating this. And I was like, dumb. You're not going to stop me. I'm in Rome.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I will dump you right here.
Yeah.
All right, we are done. You know what? I'll tell you what. One thing that I think gets overlooked when it comes to Italian cuisine or Italian desserts is pistachio ice cream.
It's really good. I think pistachio is a great flavor.
Great
pistachio
nuts.
in coffee, anything.
You're not wrong about that. I really even like bad coffee. I don't mind bad coffee, and I don't mind bad coffee desserts. Like a coffee dessert, like a tiramisu or a Jamocha almond fudge, like scoop of ice cream.
Ooh.
Get out of town.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, it is so nice. God, I feel like my show is slowly morphing into a food show, but that
It could be. I mean, ideally, if there's a time or place where aliens have made direct contact or ghosts, it's like the veil is like lifted completely. You have a cooking show with a otherworldly being.
I think
a cooking talk
God.
show, like it's a combo.
How is that not going to work?
I think that would be you cooking with an alien.
I mean,
right? It writes itself.
Look at the trades. Look at deadline tomorrow because the announcement will be there by high noon. I guarantee it, folks. Look, so I always like to tell the listeners, if we have a personal connection, how we met. And how we met is because I do kind of, some guest spots or pop on We're Here to Help podcast. And you had reached out to me about an idea to do a show, kind of like a sideshow for their website or Patreon or whatever. And cut to, you and I ended up having like a 50, 60-minute conversation about the paranormal.
It was the best. It was the best. Going back and going through it and editing, I'm like, this was so much fun.
Right.
I loved it.
It was really fun. We did like a thing where they had people writing questions, like if they had a weird experience, and I did like I basically did like a Dr. Phil situation.
Yeah, and some of them were quite deep. Like there was a lot of personal nature. There's a big personal nature to it, and like people just took to it immediately. That's what I love about the Patreon and the We're Here to Help, like just like crew, because they just get it. They're like, okay, let's do it, and then And then I don't know what order in which all of these will be released, but you coined the perfect sub show, which will be coming to the main show, if you want to say it. The perfect title.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Weird Here to Help.
See?
With Steve Berg and Morgan Nalley.
we don't mind a pun here.
No. Jake's face when we said that, the difference between Jake and Gareth's face, we said that Gareth liked it. He just pretends not to like anything. Because
Gareth was mad because it wasn't his idea. And it's also a very Gareth-y idea.
Yeah, he was upset that he didn't think of it. And then Jake was just thrilled. Yeah,
Jake liked it. Well, they vacillate between good cop, bad cop in our trio of friendship.
I think that's healthy.
I'm always a big teddy bear sweetheart, and sometimes they're crazy, and then sometimes they're nice, and sometimes they're mean to me. But it's okay. It's all love. We love them.
It's all love.
It's all love. So, obviously through our conversation, I found out that you are a fellow weirdo, and I mean that in an endearing way, like you're the good kind of weird.
Take it as a compliment.
Good.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you call people weird. Somebody's like, "Hey, man, fuck off." But we're gonna get to that, right? But first, I want to say, how is stand-up going right now? I know you're busy and you're traveling a lot for work. So have you had any time to do any shows?
Well, funny you bring it up. I haven't had the time, or I should say, I haven't made the time. We can make 1,000 excuses, but I was just talking with one of the crew members here, a local crew member, and they have a bunch of mics that they go to. So I finally started writing new material again, and gonna go up in the next week or so and just crank it out. And the nice thing is Jason is so supportive. I could tell him, I could be like, I'm leaving set because I want to go do a mic, and he would just be upset that he couldn't come. If he had to stay and act.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, so I'm here till June and I'm gonna hit the ground running, and then I pop back to LA for a little bit during a hiatus. But
right, how do you find doing stand up in LA? Because I always found it was like one of these things where I did it when I first moved out there. I kind of morphed into sketch and improv, which is how I met Jake and Gareth. But it was always one of these things where I was like performing at like good clubs and stuff, but it was like half of them were stand-up comedians who just didn't want to laugh at you because it was like so competitive.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I started in a post-pandemic era, so it all shifted, and I haven't done the club route. It's been random open mics through friends and friends of friends and other like comedians in the community, and then a lot of indie shows. Like I'm going more that way because I've looked at
way better.
I kudos to comedians who can do clubs, because like where is it? It's the Comedy Store has or it's Laugh Factory, I forget which. They have Wednesday nights. It's like 3 p.m. and you have 2 minutes, and then if they like you, you can come back the following Wednesday, and you get 3 minutes. And I'm like, you gotta like crank out some jokes, because all of my material is more story based and has an arc. So is mine. Yeah, it's like, so it works out that way, and it all ties into, because the purpose of stand-up for me, I did improv in college and I loved improv. It's the most fun. I remember the first time I can put myself back in the exact moment, the exact space when I got the first biggest laugh of my life, and I think I've been chasing that high ever since.
Yeah, it's a drug.
Like, I'm like, okay, that's it. This is the feeling I want, and I want that forever. And I will do whatever I have to do.
You're chasing the laugh dragon.
It's crazy. It's intoxicating. I'm like, oh, this fully is like, it's a life. And
it is.
And but stand up is like this through line for me. I just always wanted to do it and try it, and I've never felt more at home than the first time I did it. Just being on stage, say what you will. Maybe I just love hearing the sound of my own voice. But I want to do. I'm working on material through it. I want to do a one-woman show, which kind of is like that, and it's real silly.
You should.
That's the end goal. This very ridiculous one-woman show.
One time, like, God, this is probably 10, 15 years ago, I worked really hard one summer and wrote a one-man show. I hired a director, we worked it out, and then I chickened out at the last second. Mostly because I thought it was insensitive, because the whole one-person show was when someone committed suicide at the top of my car. As it was driving, someone jumped off a bridge and landed on top of my car. I'm not joking. It's actually real.
Horrible, completely horrible for all parties involved. And also, like, I don't know how you don't. You're really affected by that, obviously. I'm almost...
Oh, yeah. It was traumatizing.
Yeah, and, like, so you're like, okay, let me try and find humor in this.
Yeah, I thought I went, like, I mean, like, it was also a different time. I was like, very scared. I didn't want to take too big of risks doing stuff like that, because I was working at, I didn't want to, like, ruin my acting career by doing a one-man show about someone committing suicide on top of my car. Maybe I should have.
It's niche, but also not. It's just... It's niche, nice but not. It's. I would go. I'd be like,
thank you.
Well, we got to see what Berg's cooking here, because it's
right. Well, maybe we'll tour the country together with our one-man, one-woman shows.
Oh, now that would be fun.
Yeah, right.
It would be two sides of the same coin. I have a whole thing. I have a whole bit with it where like there's like telling these stories like in a gynecological chair. Like I want to tell you certain stories like in that.
That is so good. That's hilarious.
So
wow.
it like, and it's just like being all the things with being a woman. But yeah, so that'll be a part of it.
That's really, really funny. I love that. Oh my God. I've never seen that done. See? It'll
be fun. Hey guys, please don't take it.
Yeah, don't take this idea. If you do, no, I'm copywriting it right now.
Copyrighted.
I'm a notary public. It's a side hustle of mine.
I actually know a few of those.
I thought about it. It seems like a great side hustle. I feel like I'd be good at it too. I like that you can carry around a big stamp.
Yeah, I had to notarize. I had to be, not notarize, I had to be a witness on an old boss's will.
Ooh.
And that was really weird.
Yeah. See? I would like to be the plucky, kind of like cheery notary public. You know, and especially in those situations where everyone's bummed out, and I'm like, hey, it's not that bad. I mean, like, If you believe in reincarnation, whatever, it's
That would be fun.
I probably shouldn't be a notary.
You could be a note. Your one-man show could be. You could be a zany, notary traveling. Go to your home.
Here we go.
Go to your home notary who, on his way to notarize someone's will.
Yep.
The tragedy happens.
I see this on ABC Family coming next fall.
Oh yeah, we've just aged ourselves now because I still call it ABC Family, and now it's Freeform, and I'm like, I reject all of it.
I stopped paying attention. Yeah, it's like I'm still living in 2004. That's basically I stopped evolving past that year.
2004 is a sweet spot.
It is a sweet spot. I want to ask you a question though, because something in your biography
Mm-hmm.
really stuck out to me, and that is Mayfair witches. Here on High Strangers, we love our witches. We love warlocks. We love witchcraft. We love playing with elemental spirits. Now, what is this show? Can you tell me about it?
Well, so I was in one episode, and it's based on the Anne Rice series.
Nice.
And on AMC, and I played a Gaelic-speaking milkmaid. And that's
Shut up. That's
that
awesome.
role is what made me SAG eligible. So it's like it was a big deal for me.
Well,
Really exciting.
It is
now I
so
can
hard.
book more stuff.
It's
So-
once you become SAG, that's when it becomes real. But it's also really hard. Like most people don't even get into it.
It's really
Good for you.
It is really exciting, and I played I had 3 lines. Very
Great.
exciting stuff in a scene that I knew could not get cut from the episode because it was really, I was like, this is the role.
Boom. Well, you're offering important information. Those are really hard. I don't think people really understand, especially the first 5-6 years, I was doing a lot of 3-line, 4-line, 7-line parts. They're the hardest because you don't, no, it's all right. You don't get to develop anything. You have to come in there. You have to nail it. They're going to only give you 2 or 3 takes at the most.
And I mean, Logan, the director, is absolutely wonderful. And got 3 good takes and got full coverage. They did.
Dude.
All my friends watched it and they were like, we did not expect you to have a close-up. And I was like, yeah, baby.
That means they like you. They don't actually, they'll keep you in a medium shot if you're just serviceable, but if you do a good job, truly though, that's actually just, and that makes sense, it's if you do a good job, they're going to feature you.
Yeah. And it was really fun. And I was in in this insane red wig, and a milkmaid costume, and it was really fun. And Anne Rice is the books, are still relevant, and
she's a total legend,
total freak.
Yeah, good,
deranged.
Good. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Can I kind of segue into this?
Yes.
First off, I'm very excited to watch your episode. I'm going to find it immediately because I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Season 2, episode 6.
Dude,
and everyone. I'm in the first 15 minutes of the episode, so if you don't want to watch the rest, you don't have to.
You can peace out after that. Go get some egg rolls and forget about it. Morgan, what are your thoughts on witches, witchcraft, warlocks, and all that good stuff? Are you a fan? Do you have any kind of connection to that kind of world?
I grew up watching Charmed, it was embedded in the idea of it, and just the answer is I believe in all of that stuff, and I think it also isn't it's not the stereotypical version of it. I think a lot of it's everybody has energy and power within them, and what you do with it and how you wield it is super important. Even as basic as your intentions throughout the day, or how wishing someone well and all that. All of it is these frequencies, I think, that are important to understand, that you wield a certain power and you have to be responsible with it. But I do believe, and then also on the other side of it, the older times when it was more the witch or Salem witch trials, I'm
right.
I think it was real. I think it was totally real. Yeah. And I also think that a bunch of dudes just killed a bunch of women because they're she can read, or
That's honestly probably right. I mean, those dudes were just I don't understand you, and that makes me scared, and I'm gonna burn you.
Bitch!
God, just the worst, dude. I mean, dudes are the
Yeah.
worst.
So I think all of that stuff is totally real. And I think people still practice today, and New
Oh,
Orleans
they
is a
definitely do.
testament to that. And I think it's important. Yeah, you have to, I think, be careful what you wish for. You gotta, there's some
Yeah.
spooky stuff out there.
Right. Well, and I what I do love about like what the little I know about Wicca, and like I love the how it seems to me at least that it is a real great way to connect with nature and the elements.
Hmm.
And I find that to be absolutely beautiful, because that is one thing in our modern era, post Enlightenment era maybe, that we've been pushed out of nature and into these like concrete jungles, which
Hmm.
and I think like getting into that kind of stuff might be a way to force you to get back into the nature where and that might be where we belong, Morgan. Who knows? We're just animals.
Fully believe in being barefoot and being in nature and just feeling, experiencing it all. Even when I was playing Milkmaid, we're in Ireland. It's this idyllic countryside, the most beautiful place I've ever seen, like unreal. And I'm with I'm another actor, and she's playing the bride too. I'm like her milkmaid in this scenario, and
I'm her milkmaid is something I've never heard anyone say before, by the way.
Well, forgive me, I forget where she is from, but somewhere very much like lives in Eastern Europe, like lives on a farm, like salt of the earth, like really like just like an earthly woman who's like also, it's just, and also like just stunning. And we quite literally frolic up a hill, and we're eating clovers. She was just telling me, she's like, you can eat these. Really? And we just sit on a hillside surrounded by these trees on a mossy, like a grassy knoll with like just moss everywhere. We're just eating clovers. And I was like, I feel like a witch in this moment.
You guys shot in Ireland? You guys shot in Ireland?
Yeah, it was.
Hell yes.
It was just the last few episodes were shot in Ireland. It's supposed to be Scotland. So
you got a free trip to Ireland, homie.
Yeah, got to go back to my little, like I get red constantly. I'm mostly Irish.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, I always have a red face. It's because I'm Scandinavian.
Oh, see, we get it.
Yeah, I burn easy.
Oh, so easy. Little lobster.
Yeah. 2 minutes in the sun, and it's not a good situation for me.
No.
That's amazing, though, because I'll tell you what, like, I have been super in, like, probably like the last 10 years. In fact, Jake made fun of me once for reading a book about fairies, but I'm very into, like, the Celtic fairy lore.
Oh, and the fae?
And, like,
all of it.
Yeah. Big time. Big time.
It's so interesting. And it's like, why? I think anytime anyone approaches, it's like you can approach any situation with logic. And it's not that the logic isn't logical, but all of these things to me, I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, in what world? Why wouldn't it be possible?
Well, I mean, going back go back 500 years ago, people were talking about fairy encounters. And if you replace the word fairy with alien, these encounters sound pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost like when, there's been multiple, like some scholarly works about, doing comparative analysis between the UFO phenomenon and fairy faith in the fae culture. And when you hear these, like, people like Josh Cutchin and Dr. Jacques Vallée talk about this stuff, you're like, oh, yeah, okay. I'm seeing it now. Yeah. But it's interesting.
It's all, I feel like a lot of things, with humanity, it's like recycled experiences. We're reliving a certain, and then we'll never learn.
Yeah. No, we won't. We won't. We clearly we won't. Humanity just keeps on making the same mistakes over and over again. Morgan, you in your lovely bio, you mentioned that, or I mentioned, it's weird. You wrote, it's your bio, but I got
tried. I've never written a bio for myself before, so it was, you have to like be like, okay.
It was an A+. You nailed it, by the way.
Thank you.
No one gets a bio right first time of the gate except for you. First
Suck
bio,
it,
nailed
Gareth.
it. Yeah. Oh, God, I could go on and on. Is bio? Give me a break. But you were saying you are no stranger to otherworldly happenings.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
It's mostly ghost stuff.
Okay.
That's where I feel the most tapped in and the most connected. And my friend Marissa, that I told you about on our first phone call, who really, you two should have a chat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna link you guys up because she's really, really in on all of it, especially like orbs and she does the meditations to see if I have all these things, and I'm more on, so we like, it's like she's tapped into like the alien nature of it, and then Marissa's convinced I'm a medium.
Oh,
so that's like we kind of have the balance.
Why does she think that?
I've had a lot of ghost experiences in my life, and
can you talk about some? Please, we would love to hear them.
My one of my aunts growing up, like my mom's from the South, like born in Tennessee. All the girls were born in, or I don't know if they were all born in Tennessee. She's one of 4, and then they moved up to Maryland, and it's this like, but always was going back down to Tennessee. And there's like a lot of like deep rooted, I think, like supernatural ghost stuff in the South.
A lot of folk magic. Yeah. Well, it's just so old too, Yeah,
the older something is, the more time there's just been for people to hang around. And like I have family in like Appalachia and all of that. And like, they just have that Southern lore of the, like, I didn't grow up that close to Appalachia, just like, I was in Westchester. It's like, it's just a suburb of Philly, but we were told, it's like, even as a kid was told the stories of, it's like, of like skinwalkers, and like, you don't like when you hear someone like screaming from the woods, like you don't go in, like, and if you lived like on the, like relatives would say that, and like the stories from them. And one of my aunts was always messing with me because I would see a lot of things out of the corner of my eyes, and I would like say it, and she would told me once, she was like, anytime you see something out of the corner of your eye, it's a ghost, because it's something like a quick like, flicker of the veil.
Right.
And I didn't believe her because I thought she was messing with me, but it continued to be true and still kind of happens. But the most recent big experience I had was my first night in New Orleans, because when I started like being like talking about it more and like with my girlfriends and stuff, and just realizing more of like the energy I'm feeling. It was one of the biggest times I saw something very clearly, and everything else has been mostly based in like a really intense feeling of like, call it nonsense, call it hokey, call it like anything. People could not believe me, but that's okay, because it's
I'll call it intuition.
I like that, and like I can walk into a room and like feel pretty clearly or not, like if something else is there. Really? And it's not always, it's rarely bad. Like it's always been a generally positive experience. But
how does that manifest like physically? Like is there like a little like tingle, or like I don't have any of that. I wish I did. I'm trying to learn how to be more receptive. But how does that like manifest for you in terms of like physicality?
For me, it's like really in my chest, and it sometimes feels like just like someone's pressing down on my shoulders.
Wow. And
just like a little, like it's like you just like feel the air get thicker. And like, so a quick, before the New Orleans story, there was a time when I was in college, I interned at a small production company in Philly. And so I had a great time with them, and then they would call me back while I was in school to be a PA on shoots, because they produce stuff for PBS Kids Sprouts and then other random things. So I'd take like a week off of school. I'd take the mega bus back down from Penn State to Philly and work, which was great, because I was like learning like in the film program. I'm like, well, I'm going to go be on set and like just get that experience for.
Right.
And my professors were always like, yeah, cool, go.
And that's where you really learn stuff.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
And there was this one show thing they did. It was for an MTV like reality competition thing. And they were filming it at the Eastern State Penitentiary. And an all-nighter. So the call time was like, I got to work at like 4 p.m. and then I worked until 8 a.m. And at one point, like the penitentiary was just like all ours, and they're doing this like this people are like solving puzzles through it, doing these like physical challenges, and then at one point there, so it's all live, we're shooting it not live, but we're shooting it's like you can't get in the shot. So on Milwaukee they're running, I hear that they're running towards me in the exact direction of the cameras and stuff. So I pivot down a corridor and it's pitch black. I have like an iPhone 6, maybe. It's like 1,000 years old now. And I have no light. So I turn on the flashlight on the phone and I can't see anything. And I have it in my hand. And it's one of those times I was so scared because I could not hear myself think. I couldn't, like, it felt like you couldn't really breathe because the air was just so thick and so, but like everything was quiet. Like, it's like I couldn't hear, they were just right next door to me. I know those walls are thick, but it's like stone. It was the Eastern State Penitentiary is one of the most haunted places in America because bad stuff happens there.
Right.
And it was like sound didn't exist.
Really?
And it was super scary. And all I remember is like going down this, and I did not look around me once. I just kept my head down, looking at where the light was shining, and I was like, move as fast as you can, but like, don't run. It was a weird feeling of like, don't
be calm.
Run. Yeah. Like, just move swiftly through this space and don't do your best to not take in anything in your surrounding. Just go. And I was so scared.
My God.
The rest of the night, I was like, that was really spooky because it's like I lost all. It was like a sensory deprivation chamber, it felt like.
You know, in the UFO world, and this can be applied to any kind of form of high strangeness or the paranormal, really, I think. But there's this term created by this wonderful ufologist or Fortean researcher named Jenny Randalls years ago, and she called it the Oz effect. Meaning that when people have these experiences, that there's like, she called it like a bubble is around you of unreality, where things like, it's almost like, almost like atmospheric pressure in your head. And like you were saying, like your senses seemed like askew.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were having a little bit of the old Oz effect almost.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It was super scary, but it was it's like, I mean, I was 20, 21 maybe. And it's like, that sticks with you. You're like, that feeling is really interesting.
Right. And you've had like, kind of like little, I mean, I don't want to call them murmurings of the paranormal since you were a kid, but like, like when this happened, like the next day, what did you think about it? Were you like, that was scared, I didn't like that? Or is it like, that was scary, but I'm kind of interested?
The latter. I was like, I was like, okay, cool. Like this is, there's something going on here, which I think and Marissa and Emma talk about it because they're like my two girlfriends that are like they're like very open-minded, very tucked in, the ones I'm always on this journey with. And Emma was like very much, she was like, be open, but like also be like, don't be too, like the thing of basically like being like, don't be too open because right behind the good is something potentially a little scary or a little bad. And I like that stuff I believe in too, because it's the same, it can transfer into people in everyday life. It's like behind a mask of someone or the way they're presenting themselves. It's all,
that's exactly right.
It all just translates into logical experience with people. It's so interesting that human beings is like the human condition. We can accept, we cannot it's devastating. Someone could in plain sight do something to us or like, I'm not sure if I'm explaining it properly, but can do something, but then like you can have the same exact feeling with something that you just maybe can't see, and you're like, didn't happen, doesn't exist.
Right.
Well, and that's the New Orleans one, I think you'll like. Do you want to hear the New Orleans one? Because this one's gonna trip you up. Because this was real.
You had me at New Orleans. Look, I mean, first off, like, just a shout out to New Orleans cuisine.
Yeah.
One of the best eating cities in the entire world, in my
We
opinion.
could tear up New Orleans. Oh man.
Etouffee. Give me a po' boy any day of the week. Jambalaya, gumbo, catfish.
I gained 10 pounds last year in that city alone.
That's pretty good.
Between that and the Guinness in Ireland, I was like,
yeah,
it's over.
No, that's just a life well lived, as far as I'm concerned.
I think so. You gotta fluctuate. You gotta live. You can't. Why deprive myself of the luxuries of life, like food?
Absolutely.
If I'm lucky enough to be able to go out and buy myself a meal, I'm gonna go enjoy that.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Okay.
So,
can you tell me what yearish this was?
This was 2024. This was last.
Oh my God, this is recent.
This was last February.
Okay.
And my first night in New Orleans, I'm there for the show because I was there with my friend and working on the show with her, and then that translated into like fought for my little part.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to New Orleans because the show shoots in New Orleans, and then it was Ireland last season. And we get to New Orleans. It's my first night, and we're in this house. We're in the Bywater, and it's one of those where it's a newer build. It's not like totally new. It's been renovated, but like you can't get rid of what was there pre-existing.
Right.
And
the bones are there.
Yeah. And I picked this bedroom upstairs, and it was this big bed with this gold like wired bed frame. And immediately, like that room specifically, I was like, I picked it and I was like, okay, like, let's just see. Because there was like 2 rooms upstairs. So I was like, I don't know why I picked that room. And then she's got this great dog, and I was waking up early. I was like, I'll take the dog. Like, love cuddling with this dog. She's just the best cutie pie. And so I'm asleep. I fall asleep. The dog falls asleep. It's a big bed, and then I wake up like 2 or 3 a.m. proper like witching hour.
Absolutely, that's when people get abducted. I mean, this is the time.
Stuff happens, and I wake up, and it feels a little bit like I know I'm awake. I know I'm not dreaming, but I wake up and the bed feels bigger. Like it feels like I'm further away from the other side of the bed, even though I'm not. And the dog is on that edge of the bed. And I see a woman with long brown hair, and she's just petting the dog.
Whoa.
Like really lovingly petting the dog. And I thought for a second, I was like, oh, my friend came in to check on me and the dog. And I was like, I've known her. She's never done that in any of the time. Like, she's never done that ever. Like, it's not something that would happen unless she would come in the middle of the night if there was an emergency. And so I realized that this woman petting the dog isn't my friend, and she doesn't feel bad at all. She just feels like she's really present, and she's just petting the sweet dog. And I like, as I'm like getting clear, it's like, she is just a touch opaque. It's like not fully, but like she's not fully formed.
Right. So it's a little holographic, but interesting. I was just going to ask that.
More on she wasn't fully formed and fully solid, but she wasn't like the stereotypical ghost, like clear, you see through all those things.
Right.
It's
with
like,
the little like blue light on the outside. Yeah.
She was just in a gown, like just like a nightgown, and really long brown hair, and felt like she didn't feel scary. She just felt present. And like, I was like, okay. And then I woke up, and then like, when I woke up the next morning, it like really sat with me. But like after a certain moment of registering it, like, and just watching, then she was just gone. Like I blinked and she was gone.
Wow.
So that was, and it was really, really something. And I wasn't the only person to have an experience in the house, because after a little while I moved rooms, and then my friend's mom came to visit, and she was staying in that room, and she came down one morning and she was like, did you feel that this morning? We were like, what? And she goes, I woke up to the bed shaking, like she thought it was an earthquake. And then it happened twice. And we were like, no. And I would always, when I was alone in the house, I would hear if I was downstairs, I would hear footsteps upstairs, but most only I figured out the proximity of where I was, what was above me, only ever under that room.
Really?
Yeah. It was a real trip. Yeah.
I mean, do you remember where it was? It would be interesting to do some research about that general area, that neighborhood and stuff like that.
And New Orleans is so spooky, and I mean, frankly, a lot of bad. I did do a ghost tour, and it was mostly the terrible things that white people have done.
Yeah.
And then some other just spooky ghost stuff. But I'm like, everybody haunting right now is totally justified because horrible things.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest, most present moment. And then
that's powerful.
It was awesome. I'm like, I had a great time. And
so
that house
liked it.
I did. It was a moment where I was just like, whoa. But it really was, I felt honored, and it felt very special. But there was one night actually where it didn't feel good, because it wasn't me. It was my friends were visiting for Mardi Gras. And so it's me, Emma, Vanessa, Charlie, and we're on the house, and there is a torrential downpour rainstorm, spooky storm.
Right.
And the South, the kind of rainstorm in the South that rattles your bones, which one happened here recently, where the thunder and the lightning woke me up in a way that I'm like, I'm dying. The house is going down.
This is it.
And it happened. And I went to bed early that night, and they all went out. And then Emma didn't sleep all night. She was convinced she was possessed by a demon, not sleeping. It was crazy. Charlie and Vanessa, Vanessa's the last person. So that's happening to Emma. I wake up at certain points, the way I would after a nightmare, being it's so, and the rain and everything is just super heightened. Charlie has a dream so intense that we had a fight in his dream that he woke up from it, that he was ready to pack his bags and leave. It was so real. He thought our friendship was over. He was going back to London. It was done. He was like, I'm out of here. And he wouldn't even tell me what we thought about it. It was so bad. He was
Charlie.
I can't speak about it because it just felt so real, and it was devastating. And then Vanessa, arguably, she went out the night before, so arguably hungover. But we were convinced that the next morning, she woke up so violently ill that she exorcised whatever negative energy was that went through us all in the house that night. So that was it felt like a hot spot in that house. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you, because you're a little bit of a lightning rod for this stuff, or a barometer, is that the right word? You're a meteorologist, let's just say that.
Honored.
You control the weather.
Yes.
But when you entered the house, did you did your little sensors kind of go off, or were you just,
It is that air thickness. That's the best way I can describe it. There's something different in the air that feels a little more atmospheric. Or a little more something's a little different.
A little pressure in your ears, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like a humidity, but it's not humid. Yeah,
I'm convinced. Thick. I'm convinced when I hear ringing in my ears, I'm like, something's happening, and my friend's like, you have tendinitis, but okay. And my boyfriend's not super into this stuff, but he's not like you're ridiculous, blah blah blah.
Right. He doesn't care.
No, even in New York, when we were recording Weird Here to Help, we were walking back from the grocery store one night, and I saw someone sitting in the passenger seat of a car that was off, parked on the street. And I clocked, I was like, in my head, I'm like, that's odd that someone's just sitting in the passenger seat. Literally past a pole, no one's there.
Whoa.
No one's in the car. And the only thing that my vision crossed was this pole. And I was like, and I told my boyfriend, and he was like, okay. And I was like, no, but I saw it.
Yeah. I saw the thing in the car.
He's like, okay, Morgan. But they were sitting there in a way that they were just sitting and not moving and looking straight forward. So I was like,
creepy.
Oh.
Ooh, that's disconcerting. Yeah. Concerning. Do you think now? I mean, you've had some experiences, but then seeing like an apparition at the end of your bed petting dog. One quick question about that.
Yeah.
And obviously you're taking in something so shocking to see that it may be hard to take in every detail. But did you notice if the dog was noticing being petted?
She was calm as can be. Like,
so she
cool
was
as a cucumber.
right,
like
right.
just like chilling.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an active like super tail wagging, but she was like definitely like okay with it.
Right.
Or possibly like still totally dozed off because that dog sleeps like a rock. But also was very attuned to things. So if she wasn't okay with something happening, you would know.
Right.
Kind of thing. So it like felt like, because that night it just felt like someone saying hello and visiting, and I heard a lot of different types of stories from people in New Orleans, and like my acupuncturist there he is like an old wise like being, and then I got like, oh man, I forget what it's called, but it's like this type of healing work
Reiki
done, not Reiki, but you're touched and stuff, but it's like there's like pressure points that they hit in here, and like
reflexology.
Oh man,
it's somewhere around that neighborhood. It might take me a second. No, it's okay. It's somewhere around that neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah, but it and that was even like that. Like New Orleans is just a really spooky place, and I say spooky not meaning in a derogatory way. It's just, and like people have talked about other experiences they had. Like I'm this woman's one of our crew members' daughter's friends legitimately had to move out of a home, like had to have someone come in and do essentially a cleansing and then move out at a certain point, because it was like there was some bad stuff living in that house. And she like legitimately heard someone sprinting after her and like banging on the door and all of this stuff, and so she sprinted upstairs, locked herself in the closet, and luckily had her phone and like called 911, called her mom, all the things, and like and then determined like something horrific had happened to this person, this spirit there, and then helped the spirit move on.
Yikes, stripes.
It was that story got under my skin.
Yeah, that's I don't want to welcome that under my skin. No. I'm here for the friendly encounters, ghosty friends out there. But yeah. Well, like after having an experience like that, I'm always curious. Like, did it make you even more curious? Like, like did it like accentuate your interest in this stuff?
It did, and I haven't done, I think, the research beyond it, but I've noticed myself continue to be more open-minded, cautiously, of course, like because I'm already like, I feel very open in my life with my loved ones and people I meet. Like I like to lead with empathy, and that can also sometimes.
God, we need more of you in the world, please. Yes.
You got to take care of each other. It's really,
sister, I'm with you on that, 100%. Because the controllers of the world are not going to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, then we'll take care of it. And I'd be curious to like go down the rabbit hole more, but I'm finding I'm not like actively seeking it out, but I would like, it's like in talking, like thinking about like where I grew up, like I wish I had done more of the spooky stuff, like done the thing where you like go and you turn your headlights off and things like that's more urban legend, but that stuff now, I think I'd just be curious to do more of those things now. And even when I do medicinal plant sessions out in the desert.
That was the best, like, censored phraseology of tripping balls I've ever heard. Wait, what did you say? That was amazing. I need to write that down.
Medicinal sessions with plants. Like, medicinal sessions. Plant-based medicinal sessions in the desert.
Amazing. That's
and it's real. I think all of those also, it's like have also opened me up, and even in them, like there was a time in Joshua Tree where
that's where you do plant-based sessions, by the way.
Yes, and the Joshua Trees, I legitimately, it was like I was Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant. Like, this is a much longer story, but Cliff Notes version of it is like, one of our friends had gone, we all drink our teas, and then we brewed our teas, and then we all walked out into the desert, like, while the sun was still up, to watch the sunset. So we had our bearings when the sun went down.
Yeah, smart.
And some of us went back, and then one of my buddies stayed out there, and it was his first experience. So like, he stayed out there, and then at a certain point I was like worried about him, and a few friends had like gone to look for him.
There's always one person who goes a little far.
Well, and so I like put on my jacket because it was December. I started making the trek, and then I was like, I don't have any supplies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was nonverbal for what I felt like was hours. This was all in my head. Right. And I go back, I put my boots on, I get my jacket, I get like the Pendleton blanket, I stuff my pockets full of candy and neck cuties and a water bottle and a flashlight. And I was like, I'm going to go make sure my friend is okay. And my friends that went to find my friend. And I went to war out there. Actually, and like, have you ever seen The Mummy?
The Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the sand wall with Imhotep's face?
Yes.
So every step I took, I was looking down. It was like I was stepping on Imhotep's face.
Yeah.
And then the Joshua trees were literally speaking to me. In the wind, they were whispering to me, and we were communicating without a word. The moon came out down from the sky and was right here. And I don't remember what the moon said, but it was a life-changing conversation, because I felt like, and this all is like a little bit away from the supernatural, but it did. I feel like
not really. I mean, like, it really isn't. Yeah, yeah.
And I heard out in the distance, I hear my friends literally sounding like fairies, giggling in the distance, and I break out into a dead sprint towards their direction with all of this gear. And then I hear them, they're like, oh, what's that? And I stop for a second. And then I hear my voice for the first time, and truly what I feel like is ours. We all get back to the camp. It's been 45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes, maybe. And I'm like, hello? And I sounded like a child asking for help for the first time. And then they were like, Morgan, and they found me, and I broke down into a heaving sob, and it was the most cathartic experience. And I was like, I brought you guys all this stuff, and they were like, you brought us life. And since that one specific instance, I have felt more open to everything, and all of my senses have sharpened.
Right.
Which is really, it's like, it all goes hand in hand, and it's just so special.
Yeah. Well, look, I couldn't agree more. I think it's like compressed therapy. It's also good to test your metal every once in a while and put yourself in these, like,
do it.
Put yourself in these kind of like, I'm going to step outside of my, the consensus reality for 5.5 to 6 hours and see what I'm made of. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I do think it's like, because in modern life, and most ancient cultures, men, women, they had these initiations, and it was oftentimes took place, when you were becoming an adult, and these initiation experiences in these ancient cultures were so important to the evolution of someone's personality and how they were gonna, grow into the next chapter of their life. And we don't really have it. I mean, we go from middle school to high school. That's not really an initiation, though.
And like college is like junior adults, but it's wrapped up in a different kind of culture.
Right. I do think you can kind of force initiations by doing what you're doing, and especially in Joshua Tree. And I don't know if you're aware of this because you're not a super nerd like me, maybe, but Joshua Tree has a long history. It is kind of ground zero for the 1950s UFO contactee movement.
I don't know the specifics, but I know it's out there. Oh, speaking of UFO contact, a different Joshua Tree trip. This is gonna, in a car, driving out to like the Pappy and Harriet's.
Sure, I'm going to see. I just bought tickets to a show there today.
Oh, gorgeous! It is
best venue maybe in America.
I love that place.
I do too.
Driving out
so
with
much.
my girlfriends, it's pitch black, and off the road, legitimately see a bright blue floating orb.
What?
Just there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I believe it was Emma who also saw it, and we were like, no way. And I wanted to, we were like, we should turn back around, but you kind of can't there. And then it's like, you just like you keep moving, but it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and there's something just going on in that that their desert. I mean, like, and historically, with UFOs for sure, but they even have a desert Bigfoot version. Can't remember what they call it, but like, it's an enchanted land out by Joshua Tree, Palm Springs. That whole desert, it's like, you feel like when it really feels like another planet.
Have you gone into the park to do CE5 after dark?
I have not done. I've never been there at dark. I've taken plenty of like day hikes, but I've never been there after dark.
I also have a very good sense of direction. Not there. I was like, oh, yeah. I get it. It's dark here.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit of a pivot, but this also goes with this because Marissa, Emma, and Annalise and I, we all went to Shasta. I still don't know.
Mount Shasta.
Yeah. We went up in
August.
August.
Way. Wow.
We went up in August and we had a little Airbnb and we met an incredible man named Venusian Paul. Paul from Venus.
My God.
Paul from Venus. And this man, he does do tours. Marissa found him through the Airbnb we were staying at or like something like that. And she ended up DMing with him because we were like, frankly, we didn't have the money for a proper tour like that. Right. And him and Marissa end up hitting it off. And we go, the optics of this are insane. Because what I'm basically telling you is that four like young female presenting human beings go to a strange man's house
named Venusian Paul
in a small mountain town. The four of us go and
this is how horror movies begin, by the way, Morgan.
Legitimately. And we just go to his house, the four of us. And he was going to lead us through a cacao ceremony and to look in the backyard and look at orbs and stuff.
Okay.
And we did, and he made the cacao and all of it. And it was like, and I didn't realize at the time, Marissa, when we got in the car after, she was like, Morgan, you had our backs. And I was like, what do you mean? Because I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, he brought out 4 cups. And I was like, what about you, Paul? And then he got a 5th cup.
Smart.
And in my head, legitimately, I was just like, oh, well, he should have some too because we should all share in this experience. And Marissa was like, you and your kindness also saved us from potentially being
could be cyanide. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like a Saw movie all of a sudden. Yeah.
And then we go out into his backyard in his crystal circle because he happens to have a vortex in his backyard.
This all checks out, yeah.
And we just look up at the sky. We saw a lot of satellites and just a lot of orbs saying hello. Yeah. And there was this one massive, massive pine tree, like something that seems like exaggerated in a dream or a nightmare, staring directly at me. And at a certain point, I just lock in with this tree. It feels like our breathing is in sync.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm getting something from this tree. I'm getting information. This cacao was purely just cacao. For the record, people.
Well, but I don't even think I understand when you're saying, like, I'm thinking like a cacao, like the stuff they put in smoothies, right?
Yeah, so cacao.
It's like a fake chocolate?
No,
it's like a hippie chocolate?
It's pure, like, dark raw chocolate, like cacao, the beans and stuff. And it's naturally in Eastern, and I could be misquoting this, so this is not like my medical thing, but it's heart opening. And a lot of times you'll take like a cacao, or like when you're doing medicinal plant medicines in the desert. You brew it into a tea because it's also it's the intention you put into what you're about to consume. Because a lot of people use these in a party scenario, and it's like they're just taking it, and it's like this is medicine. This is something you're choosing to like go and like if I'm doing a dose, it's like I'm out there and I'm doing it, and it's like I'm going to work through some shit and talk to nature and get weird. Like,
yeah. I love it.
Gareth was talking about getting ready for ayahuasca on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I've never done that. Totally want to. And I also want to like go to South America and like properly meet shamans and like and learn the culture, like respectfully, of course. And if I'm lucky enough to be ushered in to any sort of ceremony, I want to do it. And like the frog venom thing, I want to do.
Yeah, lick the frog.
My dad listens to
have
this.
A friend.
He's gonna be like, "You gotta get out of LA, hippie."
LA turned my kid into a hippie. I'm sure like, oh god, and it does. It turns you into a hippie.
I've always been open-minded though, is my thing. I'm like, not that my family isn't. It's just like we're just different, and I'm like, I gotta get out in the world and do some silly. I gotta go to a stranger's house in the middle of nowhere with my girlfriends and risk my life to see some fucking alien activity.
I'm gonna drink a strange unknown brew from a man named Venusian Paul.
And did not see him make it, and just went caution to the wind.
Yeah, well, it worked out for you. So your intuition paid off. Also, you made a great call by making him drink it as well.
My inherent, like, hey, let's make sure everyone's taken care of. Took care of all of us.
Yeah.
Marissa was dying in the car. She was like, Morgan, nice. Because apparently they were all like, she was having the moment where she's like, are we going to do it?
I know this is a stupid idea to drink a strange drink at some man's house named Venusian Paul.
I came back, Jason and I were in New York for a different show last summer, and I came back and he was like, oh, how was your week off? And I told him, and he was like, so you're telling me you went to the mountains and went to a strange man's home and just drank unidentified beverage that he made for you? And I was like, yeah, but he drank it too. And he was like, okay, Morgan, good to see you. Like, glad you're still with us.
Glad you're here and you're not in some weird situation, because it really could have gone down in a different way. But it all worked out.
It all worked out, and now we're here getting to talk about it. I feel like I've talked your ear off. I'm having a blast.
That's what it's about. Look, this is you're an absolute legend. I even, it's funny when we were talking on the phone, I was like, oh, like in 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, she's a buddy, like,
Yeah. Felt very.
Morgan will be nice enough to come to my funeral, I think.
1,000%, and hopefully you're there, hanging out with us right next here and being like, look at that.
Do me a favor and dose all my friends with some, give everyone an unbeknownst plant-based session.
I'll give Jake a peppermint. I'll give Jake a peppermint tea. I
want you to dose them, please.
Oh man, please. Imagine us. Ethically, not the best thing, but if we go, it was Berg's dying wish. He asked me to do it, dude. Come on.
What am I gonna do?
What are you gonna tell him no?
Berg, I want you to do it. You gotta do it.
And I feel like in the middle of like some insane trip, he'd be like, oh, okay, Berg got me from the grave.
Damn it. He won.
Gareth will be floating and be like, give me more.
Exactly. I should have thought of that.
Be like, yeah.
Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Morgan, before I let you go, I want to ask you this question. You've had some experiences. I love where your mind's at. You have a wonderful point of view.
Thank you.
Do you think somewhere down the road in terms of your art, your stand-up, that you will ever weave any of this into it? Because I'm not trying to tell you how to do your act. I swear to God, I'm not. I really am not. But I just think this stuff, to me, I've started talking about like UFOs and weird stuff and all the me sleeping in caves doing stand-up, and shockingly it goes well. And you don't even have to write jokes about it, because people think you're so weird for talking about this stuff that it's really good material. And I would say, like, when you talk about these experiences, I'm so enraptured, and like this stuff, without being disrespectful, can be very, 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 very funny to me.
Well, because it's like anything in life. Again, it's like everything to me is inherently funny. Like even the worst things. God, that was like, oh, I rubbed my eye, and I was like, I was like, oh, I tried to,
It's a will-o-wisp.
Everything's inherently funny, even the worst things that have ever happened to me. Find the humor in all of it. It's the reason we're in our industries, and we're the circus. But 1,000%, I want to work it in, because I think the best material comes when you believe it. Like I believe what I'm saying, and I don't need anybody else to drink my Kool-Aid. But like I believe it, and I'm having a good time, and I get to see ghosts.
Yeah.
Or so, like, maybe I'm just maybe the voices I hear, maybe the things like that, I'm like, it's a thing that's going to come up later in my life, a medical condition potentially. But right now, I'm just having some fun.
That's exactly right.
And until it's a spooky ghost, I'm going to say, come on in.
I love it.
I say spooky in the bad way, spooky in the mean way.
Do you think also, here's kind of a second part to that question. Do you think, like, in the coming years, you may attempt to poke the bear a little bit more?
Yeah, I want to do it with the right people in the right scenario. Like, I think we should go out in the woods. I will never touch a Ouija board. I think I understand people can have had good experiences.
Right. I have one. My wife won't let me use it in the house.
She's right. Like, do not bring them into the home. I agree. And a Ouija board, there's too much activity. I think when you do that, there's too many things going on. You have no idea what or whom you're speaking with.
Right.
No, it's not for me.
Yeah, smart.
And I do have boundaries with it, but I'm willing to step on that line and see what's up.
Yeah, you're tiptoeing.
Next step is to go out into, like you had mentioned when we recorded previously, going to the same spot 3 nights in a row. I do want to do that.
Yeah, and rest in peace, Jeff Ritzman. Jeff Ritzman was this guy who was an experiencer and also a great pontificator on all these weird subjects. But he was like, he would say, look, I don't recommend this, but if you go out to a rural place 3 nights in a row, roughly around the same time, you're going to experience something, and it won't be what you expect. And it's intriguing to me. It just so happens, though, I get really lazy at night, and I'm like, get in my car. I'm watching a baseball game.
It's tough. It's like, okay, I have to go after midnight.
Yeah, I got this Chex Mix in my lap, and it's, I got a kitty cat. It's hard.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. You never want to get in your car and drive at night, but, but if I guess I'm really serious about experiencing this stuff, I would just suck it up and get out to rural Nebraska and go check it out.
Well, if I'm ever in Nebraska, we should just do it.
Homie, if you're ever in Nebraska, first off, there's a nice little stand-up comedy scene here. It's burgeoning. There's some great comedians here. I will hook you up. I'll set you up with a show. You and I will do a little show, and then at night we'll go tromp around a graveyard or something like that. Look for demons.
Let's look for good and spooky stuff. We could set up. You should do a live one of these and do like a proper Q&A. Like, I'd love to see you with the crowd and get to talk to the masses and, like, really, because it's, again, when it comes from an earnest place, like, material, all of it, it's just like, people cannot get it, but, like, it's just my experience, and if you like it, you like it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to, like, weird everyone out in Omaha, man. I want to be like the mayor of weirdness here, So, because in LA, I'll be honest, like when I moved out to LA, I'm like, man, I've always been the weird guy in my friend group. But you get to LA, you're like, oh, I'm like a math teacher. Like,
dime a dozen out in LA.
I mean, we are like we're buttoned up, straight laced, like
seriously.
We might as well be nuns.
Speaking of which, I did in Rome. I almost I was on a bike. My boyfriend and I rented. We got on lime bikes.
Oh yeah, fun.
And we're like going, and then I didn't hit the brake right, and I almost hit a nun. A full blown in the habit and everything, and I stopped and I missed it, and then I just went, "Sorry, sister," and then let go.
Not that I want a nun to get hit by a bike, but can you imagine the material? I mean, like, it's still a great story. I mean, you can definitely work that in.
I can work this in.
Yeah.
I'll just start sending you voice notes being like, Berg, you think this is an okay joke?
Yeah, trust me. Well, look, if you have weird bits, I'm your guy. I'm your guy.
Excellent.
That's my specialty. So
think about like what happens if you hit a 9 in Rome, one of the most like holy places on the planet. Even for someone, I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual, but not a religious person. Even I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like the aesthetic of Catholicism, I think is pretty sick. The institution and I don't really get along, but
no. But I mean, like the cathedrals over in Italy and Europe in general are just some of the most gorgeous architectural feats of the Western Hemisphere. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Like I don't always see eye to eye with religion, but I go, man, you guys, all of you made some beautiful stuff, and your outfits are sick.
Yeah.
And I mean, to each their own. Like. I'm woo-woo in my own way.
Right.
I'm talking about ghosts.
I'm a full-on crank. I'm a nut. So it's fun. I enjoy it.
Here we are,
just a couple of weirdos. Morgan, you have been absolutely fantastic. Would you do me a huge favor and let the listeners know where they can find you on social media or wherever, or just more?
Okay.
And re-mention the episode or the season and the episode as well.
Yes. Okay. This is my first time properly plugging myself. So let's do this.
Good. Let's do it.
I'm Morgan Nalley, as you know, if you've made it this far. You can find me on my Instagram that I don't use often, but I'm looking at getting more online, at whatismorgan. And
I love this. God, you blew my fucking mind, man. Tell me you came out with that on one of your desert plant-based sessions.
I actually, years ago, a film called Morgan came out, and I saw their hashtag was #WhatIsMorgan for all their promos. I was like, I'm going to make that my Instagram.
It's great.
And I
took
it. I took it from them. But they hadn't used it.
No, they missed an opportunity.
They missed an opportunity. So at @WhatIsMorgan, you can catch me on season 2, episode 6 of Mayfair Witches. More to come in this blossoming career.
Yes.
And
much more.
If anyone ever uses Vimeo, you can find a short film that I wrote, produced, and acted in called Positive Reinforcement. Which, Steve, I actually think this will be up your alley because it's brutal and weird.
Will you do me a favor? Well,
I can send it to you.
Yes, I was going to say send.
Please, we have each other's numbers. I'll send that.
Yeah. Please send it to me. Morgan, you have been an absolute joy. I'm so happy. I love having new buddies. It's so good to have a new buddy.
I'm
telling you, if you're ever in Omaha, we'll do a show together, and then I will show you some of the wonderful weirdness of Eastern Nebraska because we got it. I'm
gonna make my way to Omaha just because. And
absolutely.
Little side thing, if I wasn't doing this, part of my dreams was to be a storm chaser. And so I'm always looking.
You know what I was doing last night? Oh God. And it's bad. So many. I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm excited that people are experiencing tornadoes, but there was honestly, like, it was called like a Category 5 storm day in, like, the South Tennessee, Arkansas, blah blah blah. But now on YouTube they have those live storm chasing channels. And these people are insane. They're literally like, we gotta get closer, and they're trying to, like, drive into the tornado.
Truly.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess the footage is interesting, but, like, Jesus,
they're playing with fire.
They are.
I think my desire to be a storm chaser really just came from Twisters and wishing that Bill Paxton would kiss me.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like a teen. I was like, I want to be kissed by that man.
Yeah. God bless.
May he rest in peace.
I'm still not over losing him. I mean,
him or Philip. I'll never get over it.
Oh, good
that
God.
movie is worth. Twister is a near perfect film, if you ask me.
It is.
And I was like, let's go. But I've always been fascinated by storms like that. I'm like, because again, where the hell do they come from?
Yeah, I don't understand weather. As
the meteorologist.
Well, I know. Even though I got my meteorology degree and I'm on the news, I don't know what I'm doing. It's demons in the air.
You would be an incredible weatherman.
Oh,
even with this background. Oh,
yeah.
That could be a side hustle.
Yeah, psychedelic weatherman.
You could have a YouTube channel of you storm chasing, but from the safety of your own home, being like, let me explain this to you.
Yeah. It looks like a tornado. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God, Morgan, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for coming on and giving me your time. Will you please do me a favor and tell all the listeners to enjoy their dinner tonight? Yes.
Hey everyone, enjoy your dinner tonight.
Oh God, the sincerity, the passion of Morgan Nalley. You are the best. Buddy, we will talk soon. Everyone, thanks for listening to another episode of High Strangeness. And like Morgan said, enjoy your dinner. Peace, my friends.